You are choosing, okay? You are choosing somebody as a wakil, as a naib, a representative. Representative. Okay? Somebody to represent you in parliament. Meaning, you're going to say to a man, look, I want you to go on behalf of me and go into that House of Parliament and make laws on my behalf. Meaning it's me making the laws by you going there. That's what it means. Okay? Al-Wikala, representation, that is the principle of it. Is that the wakil, he acts on behalf of the asil, the original person. If I appoint somebody, okay, when a woman appoints her father as a wakil in the wedding contract, you know, she is giving him authority to act on behalf of her. She's the only one that can marry herself, but she gives that authority to her representative. So when the father then says that, you know, I've married my daughter to you, that means she is doing so. That means it's binding upon her, because she's appointed him as a wakil, as a representative. If you appoint somebody in your shop, you're an employee, go and sell my car and my phone and so on, okay, to the customers. What right does he have to sell your car? Who the hell is he to sell your phone, your products? You made him your representative. That means when he acts on your behalf, he has the authority to sell your car, and you become liable. You have to give the car. After that, because you appointed him. After that, you must give the car, because you made him your representative. And the same thing, if you appoint somebody to do a sin or a crime, well, you think you're not going to be accountable? You think, okay, look, you know, it's haram for me to sell or buy alcohol. Okay, so let me hire somebody, he'll sell alcohol for me. Yeah, you're still selling alcohol, you're still sinful. Okay, or say, look, you know, I can't buy drugs because it's haram. So let me appoint somebody, you go and buy drugs for me and then bring it back to me. Here's £10. Akhi, you are sinful. You're sinful. You're sinful just like him. And if you say to somebody, you know, you go, you know, I'll give you £15,000. This is the going rate apparently, from what I learned in prison. Okay, go and murder so-and-so, I'll give you £15,000. Okay? If the person goes and murders him, what, you think you're not a murderer? You think you won't have punishment, capital punishment? When they catch you, you say, no, it wasn't me. He's the one who did it. What, you think you're not accountable? In every law, even man-made laws, they will say, no, you're just as bad as him. You're both murderers. That's what they will say. And the Sharia as well. The wakil is not the only one. The one he represents, he's liable. So if you tell somebody, go and murder somebody on my behalf, and then he murders him, you're a murderer and you'll be punished. Okay? And if you say to somebody, go and make sujood to an idol on my behalf, in my name, what, you think you're not mushrik? You think just the one who made sujood is mushrik? You're mushrik as well. And the same thing, if you say to the wakil, the MP, go to the house of Shirk, this temple called a parliament, and I want you to make laws on my behalf. We're the legislators, not Allah. You and your MP are both mushrik together. This is shirk in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what exactly does Allah say about this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the complete opposite to this. Allah says that this is wrong. Okay? Allah teaches us that this whole idea is wrong. Why? Because the law belongs to Allah. We say law is for Allah alone. Okay? The law is for Allah alone. In al-hukmu illa lillah. Amra la ta'budu illa iyyah. He said the law is only for Allah. In Surah Yusuf verse 40. He said the law is only for Allah. The legislation is only for Allah. In Surah Kahf verse 26, Allah Ta'ala says, وَلَا يُشْرِكُ فِي حُكْمِهِ أَحَدًا. He said, he does not associate any partners with him in his hukum, in his legislation, anybody. And if you look to the other qira'ah as well, the qira'ah of Ibn Amir, of the same verse, Surah Kahf, he said, وَلَا تُشْرِكْ فِي حُكْمِهِ أَحَدًا. Do not associate partners with Allah in his legislation. It's not up to us. Not up to us at all. Even Allah SWT said, أَمْ لَهُمْ شُرَكَاء شَرَعُوا لَهُمْ مِنَ الدِّينِ مَا لَمْ يَأْذَنْ بِهِ اللَّهِ. So do they have partners with Allah that legislate for them a way of life without permission from Allah? Allah SWT declared the one who takes partners, who chooses a legislator, they are committing shirk in Allah, taking partners with Allah. because that's not for man, that is for Allah. So this idea, this whole idea, and this entire action, it is contrary, opposite to the basic foundation of Tawheed, the basic foundation of Islam. That's what makes us Muslim. We say, La ilaha illallah. We say there is none worthy to be worshipped, obeyed or followed except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the basic foundation of Islam. And then you want to say to me, no, it's okay, we can worship other than Allah. We can choose legislators instead of Allah. Yeah, why not? What's the big deal? This is the deen of the kuffar. This is the ibadah. This is the worship of the kuffar. This is their own festival that's coming up this election. Like their own Christmas, like their own Easter. Is their own festival. Okay? The same way we don't wear Father Christmas hat and come out saying Merry Christmas. We don't go out in the election times carrying the ballot box or carrying, voting, putting a paper in the ballot box, imitating the mushrikeen. The least of it is imitating the kuffar. The worst of it, you become mushrik just like them. Okay, you become mushrik just like them. So, what we need to understand. Some people, they never really understood what shirk is. Okay, some people, they think the shirk is only, to worship the graves, make dua to the graves. And I like Shaykh Joshimuddin, may Allah release him from his captivity. He said, look, we studied in the Salafis, we came out of all of this, this Jahiliyyah, and we learnt and studied about the shirk of the poor people. Okay, we learn about the shirk of the poor people. All those poor people in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in India, they go into the graves and they're all worshipping the graves, making dua to the graves. So it's about time we learnt about the shirk of the VIPs. Those very important MPs and the very important presidents and prime ministers, they have shirk as well. We need to forbid them as well. We can't just pick on the poor people and say, look, all of you're all mushrikeen. Why? Because you go to the graves. What about all those mushrikeen going to the parliaments? What about all those mushrikeen going to United Nations? What about all those mushrikeen going to the ballot box in the elections? Well, you don't need to forbid that one. You only need to forbid the other one because it's easier for you. Because the poor people are not going to fight back. They're not going to arrest you, are they? The MP and the Prime Minister, they're going to arrest you. You don't suddenly run away. What happened to all that bravery? What happened to all that bravery? When people they talk about the shirk, they know, yes, if we want to fight against the shirk, we want to confront the shirk, we have to have patience and sabr because they will attack us. They will have impact upon us. But suddenly when it comes to the real crunch time, you see some people, they shy away. Even the Madkhalis, they say the democracy is shirk. They say so. It's shirk. But what happened to actually forbidding that shirk and avoiding the shirk? Suddenly, they say to you now that shirk is permissible for you, it's become wajib upon you. In fact, the one who doesn't do that shirk, he betrayed Allah and His Messenger, he betrayed the amana. It's become insane what people are doing. So, shirk. Shirk could be many things for us to understand, inshallah. Shirk is for the creation to worship, follow or obey another creation. This is one way of defining for us the shirk. Whenever the creation worships, follows or obeys another creation. Okay, that is the shirk. Because the only one we worship and follow and obey is Allah SWT. Another way of defining the shirk we could say is to offer any of the ritual acts of ibadah, ritual acts of worship to other than Allah. This is shirk. Whether that was dua, or it was slaughtering in the name of other than Allah, or it was sujood in front of the idol, or in front of the queen, or in front of whoever, or it could be as well tahakum. Seeking the judgment and the laws from other than Allah is shirk. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said in Majmu' al-Fatawa, he said, at-tahakum is ibadah from the ibadat. It is worship from the ritual acts of worship. And whoever associates with Allah in his arbitration, he is mushrik. Because Allah SWT says in Surah Nisa verse 60, He said, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِينَ يَزْعُمُونَ أَنَّهُمْ آمَنُوا بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ يُرِيدُونَ أَن يَتَحَاكَمُوا إِلَى الطَّاغُوتِ وَقَدْ أُمِرُوا أَن يَكْفُرُوا بِهِ. He said, have you seen those who falsely believe, falsely claim to believe in what was revealed to you and what was revealed before you? And yet they seek judgments from other than Allah. They want to seek judgments from other than Allah when they were ordered to reject it. They were ordered to disbelieve in it. So we need to understand that this is a form of shirk as well. Okay, it is shirk as well. When we start to take the laws from other than Allah, we establish, legislators instead of Allah. And I can see obviously you brothers are very tired, it's very late, so I'm not going to go too long. There's a lot we could talk about it, but we'll try to summarize inshallah and keep it brief. So maybe we'll come back for the shubuhat and misconceptions another day, another session inshallah. But just very quickly on this topic of tahakum, and we want to summarize it very quickly for you. Do we have a rubber? Yes. I'm going to rub out my artwork first, inshallah. Okay. One thing we need to understand. Okay, there are 3 types of authority. Okay, 3 types of authority. Okay, as-sulta. Okay, so the 3 types of authority, they are: number 1, legislative authority. Okay, this is called sulta tashri'iyya. Okay, this is number 1. And you have as well sulta tanfidiyya. Okay, executive authority. And you have number 3, sulta qada'iyya. Judicial authority. Okay? Okay? And the way it works in a democracy, okay, let's do this in 2 colors. Okay? So we have democracy in red, because a bunch of kuffar, and you have, what you have in Islam, the green. Not because we are Brelvi or anything like this, just because, that's the other color, different color. So, according to democracy, the legislative authority is Parliament. Okay? MPs, MEPs, etc. Okay? House of Lords. Okay? Okay, they even called themselves lords as well, just to give you a clue. If you didn't, if you couldn't figure it out already. Okay? So the parliaments, they are the legislative authority. They decide what is the law. Okay? And then you have the executive authority. That is the Prime Minister,